Welcome to the show, everyone. We're finally here. Long waited.
Yes.
We finally have two wonderful guests, Walker and Joe. Thanks for coming here.
Sir, thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, seriously. It was awesome.
Of course, yeah. So these guys, they're co-owners in a business together, Triangle Turnover. It's like a cleaning company. They've done Airbnbs and I think a lot of other cleaning stuff that we could probably get into. But we just wanted to start off the conversation like asking, you guys grew up, like how'd you grow up? How'd you get into entrepreneurship? Like Walker, we can start with you. Like what was like the first like moment? Did you like do like side hustles? Like did you go to people's houses and stuff? Or like how did like your first entrepreneurship mind start?
Well, that's a great question. And really, in all honesty, it really didn't start until the beginning of college. Just mainly because before that, I was just so invested into like high school academics and high school soccer and all that, and I didn't really see the world for how it truly is, and it's all about business really and business people. Like, and then coming into college, I met Joe, and he already had the business mindset, which he'll touch on in a bit, and then he pretty much was like, yeah, the world is my oyster, seriously, like you can go out and make money doing almost anything. And as soon as I realized that, like just like yeah, like the doors started to open immediately, and like just driving down the street, like I would look around in my surroundings, and I would see like a business name, and I'd be like, I would just go on a tangent and think about everything that it took for that business to be there, what they currently do, how do they make money, like what are their margins like, all that stuff, and it just like got my gears turning like nonstop, and that was pretty much my beginning of really thinking as a business person, you could say, or just entrepreneur person. I'm also in entrepreneurship classes. That's my major, so that helped a lot. But you know, at the beginning of college, we didn't do all the concentration classes. Yeah, they're all just general classes. So really, Joe pretty much showed me like what he had going on. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. But yeah, he can touch on that.
Yeah, basically, I was trapping lemonade from a young age. I'll say that. Like, yeah, I was running lemonade stands. I had the operation going on, but like later on in life, I did some stuff in middle school. I had like a nonprofit in middle school, but like really the whole reason I like doing that is just because like logistics, money, like moving money around, making stuff happen. Like, and then going into high school, it really started like my sophomore year. I met this girl named Chabem. I feel like that's a story for a lot of entrepreneurs. Like you meet someone and then they really inspire you to like get after it, sure. And then you hit the ground running. So I met this girl named Chabem in Banu, who was like killing the Instagram game at the time. Like she had started all these Instagram theme pages when she was young, so she had like a really big following, and no one in the school knew it. Like I was the first person she ever told sophomore year that she has like millions of followers and no one knows it. Yeah. And like she was humble about it. And so we were like, well, like let's do something. Like what can we do? So we did a lot of drop shipping back in the day, like when that was really big. So like I was selling jewelry, phone cases, like I had all these different things going on. But like lots of side hustles, like liquidation pallets, like pretty much any side hustle really. One of us has probably tried it at some point. And then I was doing really well on eBay, like selling I would like just wholesale stuff, order stuff from China. I had different suppliers and sell it on eBay. And then Amazon was like an up and coming opportunity to be a third party seller on there. So
that's how I got into it as well.
So I did that first thing freshman year when I was 18. Started selling on Amazon, and it was amazing. Like I was killing it. I was like, I'm never working a job again. Screw this. Like, and so kind of took off with that. And then that's where I met up with Walker, got him on the Amazon grind. So that's still going on passively at this point, which is like been awesome. Allowed me to do other things like Triangle Turnover. So yeah, pretty much. Then Triangle Turnover was the first like manual labor, really like
first real business we started
like
with employees and all that, and right. Yeah, well, when we can get into that.
Right. So when you first started, so you would say like that your Amazon dropshipping was like your biggest like success like from the start. Right. I mean, you went from lemonade stands and then you like finally progressed and like dropshipping's like okay, I can really make a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, dropshipping was in high school. The Amazon stuff, like I get all the inventory myself and distribute it to Amazon, and then they put it on Amazon Prime and do FBA and all that stuff. But yeah, in high school it was really when I met Chabem, and we were making pretty good money sitting in high school. Like I remember we'd be watching like our sales dashboard for like our websites, and we'd make like $1,000 in a day, and be like, "What the hell?" Like,
so Shabam awesome. Walked you through that dropshipping, or like did you do your own
we
research?
We kind of learned it ourselves because she had the platform to market whatever dropshipping store we wanted to create. So if it was jewelry, we could market jewelry to her audience and for free, and she knew the other influencers in the space, so they could market it, and we'd pay them, and then it was just crazy.
Pretty much set up nicely.
Right. But as far as money for myself, Amazon,
FBA.
like FBA, that's
a whole nother podcast in itself, honestly.
Right. Yeah. There's so much to go into there, but so much opportunity. Like doing Amazon, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say that was the start.
That was the start.
That's awesome you did that so early.
What was that?
That's awesome you did it so early.
Yeah. It is. We always get like people that we meet, especially parents and family friends, they're always really surprised of how early we start stuff, and like to us at this point it's like but we do sometimes have to sit back and be like, holy shit, like, or holy crap, like this is like we are like kind of young and doing all this stuff, like we should be at least proud of ourselves if no one else is.
And
go ahead.
I think like the reason you guys started like so early was because of the relationships you built. So like you met your friend, and then he met you, and you put him on.
Yeah.
So like how did that relationship work between like the two of y'all? Like how did you meet, and like how did it become a business partnership?
Right. So we became roommates.
First.
It was like pretty. He like DM'd me on Instagram. Was like, and I was like, screw it. Like I don't want to look for a roommate. I'll room with this bozo. So yeah, we roomed together, and then really I was like just doing I was like every day waking up printing shipping labels. Like I was like running an operation out of our dorm room. And so like naturally he's like, what the hell, like what's
going on? Yeah. Like at least like teach me something or show me. And just from watching I was like understanding and stuff, and then he taught me a lot of stuff, and then I pretty much started doing it on my own, and during all this like we're becoming like pretty good friends. Like we lived like 2 feet from each other. It was in Metcalf, so like
so it was like a business partnership waiting to happen. Just because like I could tell pretty early on that like he was interested in business as well.
Yeah.
Which like I think is pretty crucial when you're first getting started to like have someone to bounce ideas off of. I think partnership is pretty important in business. Yeah.
I just remember the first thing I tried to make money on was doing surveys, like online surveys.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Right.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
All the side hustles in the book, I'm telling you.
That's awesome. Go try them all, huh?
All of them. Every single damn one of them. Yep.
So like obviously you guys were picking up all these side hustles along the way, like leading into college. But like when was that moment and you realized like maybe like less of this side hustle and like commit more towards starting a business? And like what made you think of like just that cleaning business?
Yeah. That is a great question. So another side hustle that I have been doing and still do is like Airbnb hosting. So like working with like people that own properties, furnishing them, renting them out, and just like helping with guests. So I knew that the Airbnb space was blowing the hell up all over the country. Still is, yeah. So we were kind of looking for a change going into summer 2020 because it was like COVID, and it was starting to open back up. Like vacations are starting to happen, so we're like,
that spring semester we were just
burnt out
/ bored / like we wanted to do something new, something exciting.
So we were like, we want to start a business. So we were like, oh, when are we starting our lawn care business? Like we would just joke about whatever.
Yeah.
But we were like, I think it was just a random idea one day. Like, what if we moved to the beach and cleaned beach houses and managed beach houses was going to be the main thing.
Yeah.
Like manage them on Airbnb and clean them, and we can make bank and live at the beach. So we were like, okay, well, let's start getting that in the works.
We were like, oh, that would be lit. We're going to live at the beach for the summer and all that. And then we really started to think about it. Like we started to actually sit down, have conversations about what do we do to set this up or start something. And the more we sat down, the more we talked about it, the plans started to change.
So then it got to the point where we were like, okay, well, in the meantime, until the summer comes around, what if we try to find some clients to clean their Airbnbs in Raleigh, get a feel for it, so we can go into the summer with experience, proven experience, and testimonials that we could show our clients. So we turn over B&B, great platform if you need some side money. You can just find clients that have Airbnbs and need cleanings on there. So I think we got like 2 clients that both had like many properties.
But we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, we didn't know that at the time. They started us off with 1. And then it just blew up in our face. We started cleaning like, every once in a while whenever there would be a turnover. And they're like, oh, we have 10 properties. Like, do you want to clean all of them?
And this is all why we still thought like we were going to go to the beach and manage Airbnbs and like that would be our main idea, is to manage them at the
Right.
beach and set up this whole company. Like we already had like a name, like a whole, all of this, but then we like realized that this cleaning stuff, we were actually getting some pretty good cash from it,
Right.
and then we were just like, why don't we stay here
Right.
where the clients are already are. We know there's clients here. We know there's more, and just create a cleaning business, like a business centered around just Airbnb cleanings, instead of just trying to manage them and all that. And it blew up, like he was saying. Like,
Yeah, because it was like, why are we gonna leave all of our Raleigh clients, go to the beach, try to get a whole bunch of new clients, and then just leave them when we have to come back for the fall? Like that's pretty pointless.
yeah, counterproductive for sure.
But then it just got to the point where it was like, okay, like we would be doing ourselves a disservice as entrepreneurs to not turn this into a business. Like this is blowing up in our face. Like there's serious demand. We're having to turn away people and turn away properties. Like we need to hire some people, set this thing up, and like get moving. Like this is what we've been waiting for. So it's kind of like perfect time, perfect place, perfect circumstances for us to just file for our LLC, start hiring people, and like rocking and rolling.
So how did that transition work? So you guys started this over the summer, is from the beach? You
It was
moved
like
to the summer.
It was like end of spring semester into the summer. It mainly started at the end of the spring semester, because I remember specifically like ending class, and then we had like a side job at like a deli that we did that we had to eventually quit because it was blowing up in our face, like we were saying, and then from there it just moved so quickly, and yeah.
So what was the challenges like you faced from like you were working this like job and you were building up this business like all over summer, and then you're like, oh crap, I have to go back to school, we have to move 2 hours away.
Right.
What was the process like for hiring people, and like what challenges did you overcome when you were making that transition?
Yeah, well, it blew up pretty quickly. So like by the time summer started, we were already in over our heads. Like
way over.
We were just putting ads on Indeed, like getting people, and it was like first come first serve. Like who needs a job? Like
and that's one thing. Like when we were talking like way over our heads, like we were cleaning like maybe 3 houses like at least a day by ourselves. Like by the time we knew like, wow, like if we don't get employees, we're going under. Like we're already denying potential clients and all this, and by that time we already had like mostly everything we needed set up, like, and that goes for the LLC, the business bank account, the website, all that, and it's much easier to start than it seems. Like I think going into it, we were like, well, this is a big task. Like this is gonna take a while. Really, it took like 2 weeks.
And one thing to keep in mind with this business, when we say we had to clean like 3 houses in a day, like that means a guest checks out at 11, the next guest is checking in at 3 p.m. at all the properties.
Tight windows.
We have a 4-hour turnover period.
And then also, a lot of these clients are all over the like triangle, like Sub-Chapel Hill. So we're going from Durham, Cary, Raleigh, all in a small time period, and we're zooming down like this, like the roads.
It's amazing we don't have like double-digit fucking speeding tickets to prove it. Like, it's a miracle.
Yeah, seriously. And then, so then we got to the hiring process, and that was honestly super scary, because like we get on an interview, they see 19-year-old,
right? Someone double our age, and you're trying to interview them.
Literally, like I'm interviewing a 40-year-old woman. This is one of the first interviews we did, and she's just like, where's the person I'm supposed to be interviewing?
Right. It's
with?
like they're almost like speechless at first, and you just have to fake it till you make it. That's just like, and the same thing with clients, like trying to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
As someone who's like younger than any business professional they've ever worked with.
Yeah.
Like
clients,
you fake it till you make it.
I think the clients, something about the clients is they were more happy to have just anyone to clean than to have no one at all, and that just shows the amount of demand that there was. Like they did not care as long as it got cleaned and they were getting money, because they were getting bucos of like, oh my god, it was, I can't even pronounce, but shit was crazy how much money they were getting, and they just wanted that to continue, so they relied on us heavily.
Right. Yeah, that's why it was just so quick for us to like, we had the clients there ready to go, and like there were things that we could do a lot better than any of our competitors, because like the people they're used to working with, it's like just one person who cleans on the side. Yeah, like some mom or like whatever. goes in and
Someone
cleans,
that-
and they don't give the proper updates. Like there's certain things with Airbnbs that they need to know.
It's different from just
right, it's
residential cleaning.
Right.
And that's why all the residential companies, they didn't know they didn't know how to work it best, and that's where we fit in.
Yeah, no one had
that
pivoted.
gap.
There was just a huge gap in the market. Like a regular residential cleaning company is not going to do laundry. They're not going to give you an update so you can leave a review for your guests. They're not going to restock the supplies that you need. So there's a massive gap in the market, and still is.
And a lot of times they can't do that tight window that we were talking about. That's one of probably the biggest challenges that the business had, is that tight window.
I forgot what the question was. We kind of got
Yeah.
No, I think you covered it. I was asking like how you made the transition, but it just seems like what you guys were saying. It seems like everything fell in the right place. Like
it's just like with enough hard work, we just kind of grinded out any challenge that needed to be grinded out, and we took it day by day.
It was a day by day basis / weekly planning basis, because of just the I don't know the right word, but pretty much volatility of Airbnb check-ins. You never know when one's gonna happen. So being prepared for that is another part of the business that was a challenge, because you could have a booking tonight and they check out either tomorrow or the next day, and we have to be there ready to clean. So
someone would check in for a one night stay now, and we have to be there at 11 a.m. So it's just taking it day by day. But the transition was not easy. Our hairlines are suffering.
Seriously, I look old as hell now.
So how did you so when you guys were going through this day by day, was it just 100% work, or was did you work out? Were you eating a lot, or was it literally 100% of your time and then sleep and then wake up and do the same thing over again? How did you balance that?
It was 100% of our time. Our social lives were out the window. They were gone. But I mean, we still found some time to socialize. But I'm telling you, it was daily. We're waking up at 7:30, 8 a.m. And we're getting stuff ready. We're going to wherever we need to go, and we're starting as soon as that window opens. We're already there cleaning, and then we're out of there by the end. But that's not the end of our day. We're doing we're either taking all the stuff, going to a laundromat to clean everything or something like that, or we're coming back here to talk details what needs to happen next, or trying to solve some sort of problem that popped up during the day, or stuff like that. And then on the other end, we had all the other details we needed to figure out with the business, hiring people, just keeping up with financials and all that, and supplies. I mean, the list is endless, and our minds were absolutely captivated by everything 24/7. We dreamed about it.
Oh yeah, and we could get into what we would have done better, and our advice for people that are getting started, because there were so many fatal flaws that we had that if we would have done differently, it would not have been the way it was. But
so what's an example? If someone's grinding right now and they're thinking, okay, I have to focus all my life in this business, what's some advice you would say to help the process balance out?
Yeah, well, having a plan is important, and everyone says that make a business plan, but then when you get in the situation, you're this is a no brainer. I'm just gonna go for it. You should not do that.
Yeah, you in the moment you just want to go for it, do whatever that makes the business, starts the business. But you need to have a plan.
First piece of advice: take a step back, come with a plan, set what your goals are, where you see it going, and what you want to do. Your goals for the week, your goals for the month, and where you see your business in a year, and make sure that every decision that you're making on a day-to-day basis is in accordance with those goals, even if it's a year out. One of our goals was hire a manager pretty quickly, which we did not do because we didn't really even set that goal. Because it was just trying to keep employees on the payroll. And we were just the manager. But then when you start dealing with when you have 6 people working for you, it's nonstop. They all have different needs. I got to do this. I got to do that. I can't go to this.
All different schedules.
Yeah, all different schedules. You just need for our business specifically, we needed a manager whose sole responsibility was to take care of all the people. So that was a fatal flaw. But just making a plan is definitely a piece of advice number one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another piece of advice. Oh, I guess a small one is, unless your friends are working on the same level as you, like we are, do not hire your friends.
Right.
That is a big thing that we learned. Not only our closest friends, but even just mutual friends. They will find a way to use your time or use you in some way. Even if it's just they don't take the detailed / attention into what we need as much, just because they know like, oh, he's my friend, he's not going to care as much or something like that.
And as soon as you shift the dynamic from like we're friends to like you work for me, it changes. And it's like
changes the friendship.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
So like that's definitely not worth it. But going into that, like one thing that happens when you hire your friends is you overpay them. But we didn't just overpay our friends; we overpaid our employees a lot. Like, so that's another thing to keep in mind. When you start hiring people, pay people what they're worth. Like, don't like your instinct is to just want to do good and like pay them.
Our instinct.
Yeah, our instinct is to like we want to pay them really good because we want them to stay with us, which they stayed because they got paid bank for
and
what
we
they were doing.
And we cared about our employees a lot.
Right.
Like, we were invested in their lives. Like we met their children and everything. Like we would listen to their issues, like talk about their husbands, like their wives. Like it was.
But ultimately, you gotta separate yourself and realize this is an employee-employer dynamic, and if I treat it as otherwise, I'm gonna get finessed.
Yeah,
like
you're gonna get used some way or somehow if you become like super duper good friends with your employees. And you can always be friendly to your employees, like
and you should be,
but like that, like he's saying, like at the end of the day, you're the employer. You have to put your foot down somewhere.
Right.
Like
you're paying them to do a job, and they better do the job right, or they don't have a job,
or they're gonna walk all over.
Right. Yeah. Or you're gonna get walked on.
We did get walked on a few times.
Right. Yeah. So that's a lesson. Like take what you're doing seriously. Like treat it like this is a make or break situation because it is. Like yeah.
So I guess it sounds like you guys had your plates like so full. You're trying to hire all these employees. You're only 19 and you're having to turn down clients.
Yeah.
Like was there ever any point where you were like, I'm not sure we're old enough to handle this? Like people looking at you like you're too young for this. Like how did that play into all of it?
Yeah, I mean your first instinct is to quit. Like it is to just run and be like, oh no, I can't do this. Right. And like we had pretty serious times where we were like, screw this. So, like,
seriously, like there was like times where we would just like break down and be like, are we really about to do this? Like, like can we handle this right now? Like any business, tons of problems always, but there's some huge problems that we come up against, and we're just like, there's no way we can like fix this. Like why are we still keep trying? Like why are we going on? And just overcoming those battles mentally was challenging because we're already drained. Like on a day-to-day basis, we are just drained. So like, but having us together, like always there for each other, definitely helped because we would just, when one of us was like down, the other one would be like, we got this, man. Like ain't no problems. We're gonna fix this. Like this is what we're gonna do. Stuff like that. But yeah, kind of
right. That's another like importance of like partnerships, especially. It depends what kind of person you are, but really, it's like if I try to start that by myself, I wouldn't have the motivation because like FOMO. All my friends are having all this fun. Like, what am I doing? Like, grinding for what? Like, But like when you're both like, if you find someone that has the same mindset as you and you want to really chase after something, like y'all are doing with your podcast, it's like we're gonna hold each other accountable. We're gonna get this shit done. Like,
Yeah, I speak to that a lot because I feel like I couldn't imagine like if me and Sam were like living separately and like we didn't live together and like we had 3 other roommates that we had to deal with outside of our relationship, like it would be so hard to like connect with that. And like your other 3 friends are going out to party and like, you're like, oh, let's go to the bars, and I'm like, oh, I gotta do this podcast, I gotta do some research or whatnot. Did you ever come across any like challenges like between the 2 of y'all? You guys said like you worked off of each other and like kept each other motivated, but like did you come across any, and like how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, I mean, conflict is natural. Like we both natural. At the end of the day have different mindsets on what direction we want to take the business, even down to like day-to-day decisions.
Day-to-day,
But it kind of came down to like delegating. Like you're like Walker, you're in charge of this for the day. I'm in charge of this for the day.
Yeah.
We both like you have to be confident in your business partner's competence. Like you know that they're gonna make the decision and they're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Like so, there's no point in really like trying to question someone over and over.
It's really about trust and like just trusting that whatever he's dealing with for the day is going to get done and it's going to be done right in whoever's eyes. And besides that, there were times where we would get heated at each other, and we would disagree, but at the end of the day, like we would still come together and realize like the bigger scheme of everything that's going on, and that just kept us going. And I will say, like, even though like living so close, a few feet from my door, I think it benefited us more because we were just, if anything happened, like we were already there talking about it. Like we didn't have to wait, for a call or wait for an email. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs don't get that opportunity. So in that way, I do think we were very like blessed with that. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of challenges both with us and the business that we had to overcome and all that.
So you would say like the biggest like reason for like how you guys dealt with conflict is just boundaries. Like that's the like Walker has this job and he's gonna do his best job for this, and then Joe has just this job and he's gonna do his best job for that.
Right. Yeah. It was all about like finding your role, like kind of like, and we at the beginning we didn't establish who was gonna do what, and that was another big problem that we faced early on. But you know, we sat down and we talked about, okay, so what are our strengths and how can we best use them, and we established like what we would do and all that, and kind of balance it out, like the workload, and from there it worked pretty well. That dynamic was definitely better, and you know, like you said, like we got the stuff that needed to be done, and he got the stuff he needed done, and yeah, so I will say that's another thing I would recommend is establishing those roles early on in a business venture, like with that business plan. Make sure everyone knows what they're there for and what they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
Would you say there was like any specific thing that had like the most impact on why your business was successful?
Raleigh.
Yeah,
Raleigh.
Location, time, place, like
all those three combined, and that's right. I mean, that's, you could dumb every business down to that, but it worked especially here. Like it's just the Airbnb business is still booming. It's not oversaturated like a lot of major cities are. And so we pretty much realized that after we started cleaning, and we tried to capture that audience, and we did. Like we were starting to get referrals from word of mouth. Like it was that easy for us, and that's where a part of it we became overwhelmed.
Right. And I feel like just being like, another piece of advice is just being like honest and having integrity in any business you're doing. Yeah. Like your clients will appreciate it, and like and then you'll be successful because of it. Like if there's a demand and they need you and you do a good job and they can count on you, you're golden. Like you really are golden. And another thing was, we weren't like trailblazing a new industry, you know. We are innovating the cleaning. It's a cleaning business. Yeah. It's like this has been done 1,000 times before, which I feel like for a first business venture is pretty helpful to understand like the basics of business, to do a business that's been proven 1,000,000 times over and been successful. Like that's a pretty solid reason. Like we could watch a YouTube video and figure out anything we needed to know about the cleaning industry and about business in general. Just like use the resources that you have at your disposal. Like we all have access to YouTube. So how do I file an LLC? How do I hire an employee? How do I this? How do I that? It's that easy. Like just use the resources that are available to you.
Definitely.
And you're likely to succeed.
We talk about that all the time in like our previous episodes. We're always mentioning like just do your own research.
Right.
YouTube is like the best place
your
to be.
Best friend.
You can literally learn how to tie a shoe and learn how to start a business. Like it's insane how the broad spectrum that's online.
Absolutely.
Marry YouTube if I could.
Too bad Google bought it up. And no, but so I wanted to dive in like, so the relationship with your clients. Like my Opa, he owned a business, and there's obviously the common saying that's like, oh, customers are always right. Like whatever the customer says, you have to go by. He didn't believe in that because there were customers who stole from him. There were customers who tried to lie out of time and stuff. Have you guys dealt with any situations like that where the client has like a problem and they're like, okay, you guys did this wrong, and they're like clearly lying? Like, how did you deal with that?
I would say yes. I think first of all, the most important thing with our clients is communication. And we were always like communicating with them. We had their numbers, we had their emails, everything. Like we would call them like every week almost, but just some of the clients we had were very sophisticated, and if anything was out of place, like they would know apparently. Like with this one client in Durham that we had, she had a ton of properties, loved her business at first, but it became one of our biggest headaches because she had a way that she wanted to do everything, and if it wasn't done that way, then it's like you didn't even do the work. And we told her time and time again, like, we're gonna do it our way, because we had an established way that we trained our employees to do, and like if that doesn't work, like we're not going to be a cohesive partnership with them. Like
and she was stingy too, so like
Very
like know when to walk away from a customer, like which
Yeah.
is true. The customers are not always right, like at all. Like, and she was stingy. Yeah, she was very particular about, like, she wants us to fill out her checklist and whatever. Not gonna happen, lady. Like, you're looking for an employee. We are a company. We're a cleaning company.
Yeah.
We're not your employees.
Yeah.
So it's like knowing what value you're providing for the customer and not putting yourself open to be like, you're not completely dependent on them. Like,
Yeah.
there's more clients anywhere you look. Like,
I will definitely echo what he said about knowing your value as a business and what you provide versus what they're giving you. Like, a client is a client, like, as important as they are, there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I would nail that saying on a wall, know your value. Like,
Right. Yeah. Don't allow yourself to get walked over by any client. Like, move on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all, like, that's pretty insightful, and it seems like obviously starting the business and growing it has taught you guys so much. What are like what do you see for the future of the business, and like, are you looking to like expand? Are you looking to move somewhere else, or?
Right. So come like 2 months ago, we ceased operations.
we did actually.
So to take a break for school
Wanted to
and
finish
other fatal flaws, we had like some employees in the business that were
Issues.
not good, that were problematic.
Yeah.
Um,
So we pretty much dissolved everything we had, which is actually a longer process than starting it was.
right. So technically we quit, which is, like, I'm not afraid to say that.
To
Everyone's
this day?
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it's
still dissolved?
done right now.
Well, with the
Yeah.
LLC and everything is active, but
Yeah,
we
we
don't in the websites. But we don't. Yeah, we don't do anything for clients, and people still contact us
Yeah, I
daily.
literally got a call like
Like,
a week ago.
Yeah,
and
people emailing us, filling out like whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it was still a win because we took away a lot of money. Like, we
Yeah.
did make a lot of money with it.
you
So
could say we took the money and ran, but
Right.
we didn't go anywhere.
because we were going into senior year, or not senior, junior year, but we have like our capstone classes for our majors. Like, we
Yeah.
wanted our social lives again. Like, for like the whole summer we didn't get to do anything. I was
Yeah.
pale. Like, like that's not cool. It's
It was
like,
it was absolutely absurd, like how much time it took up and how little time we got to do anything else we wanted to do. And we were realizing, like, as much as we love doing this business and starting a business as a whole, like, we need to take time to enjoy like life as it is right
and
now.
college
how young we
before
are.
it runs out.
Yeah, and so we just took a step back and was like, all right, let's take at least take a break / like shut down everything right now. And we know in the future, like, we could start up any business
We could start
want.
trying
Like,
to turn her up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, is the thing.
it's so easy.
Right.
Like,
And I'm a total advocate for starting a business in college, but we didn't have like those established plans and goals like I talked about. So
yeah, we had
like
those
from the
things.
beginning, we could have had it automated by now, and we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But we were taking it day by day to the point where we weren't focusing on our goals day to day.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
We got caught up in the day-to-day operations and being newbies. Like, we didn't know the full extent of where we needed to put our focus on. But yeah, at the end of the day, we see it more as the best learning experience we could have had
Ever,
than anything. Anything better than a job, anything better than an internship as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And like the things we did, the lessons we learned, we're gonna carry into our next venture, which is
Right.
undecided right now. But
Right. And the money was nice. Like, I no regrets, honestly.
yeah,
Like, all
we've
around.
been taking trips. We've been just living it up.
Right.
It's been great.
So it's nice to reap the rewards. Like, it would be
Yeah.
nice to have it fully automated working. And one day, I'm convinced that we probably will start it, and just to prove that like it's like it can be done. Like, I think in the span of a month, we could have this thing up and operational and probably automated.
That's
if
awesome.
if we put in the level of work that we used to.
Yeah.
Like, we were pulling all-nighters in laundromats, and like when you're in college and you have a full course load and you have friends that are counting on you, it's
Yeah.
like you don't want to
You
pull
can't
an
do
all-nighter in
it.
a
You can't-
laundromat. Like,
You can't balance all three. It's literally impossible. And
unless, I mean, you could do it right. Like,
yeah,
but-
if you do it
yeah.
right, but as we said, we didn't do it right because of the flaws that we had, which were the no business plan, hiring whoever we could get, which was a bad idea. We needed competent employees, so that was a bit of a pitfall for us. And then poor management that we hired. But overall, great experience. Would
Right.
would do it again. 100%.
That's cool. You guys keep like a positive mindset about that. Like,
Right.
like you said essentially quitting, but you didn't necessarily quit.
Right.
But that's so cool. You left it, and you're happy that you left your business,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then you know that you can go back to it.
Yeah, and we could have sold it. Like legitimately would have been.
Yeah.
It was worth some money, but
That
like we're just so
process
burned
alone.
out at
Yeah.
that point in time, which happens to entrepreneurs all the time. Like, and you just have to know like. Well, they say like 90-something% of new businesses fail.
Yeah.
In the
You have
first
to know
couple of years,
the odds are against you.
the odds are totally against
Yeah.
you. So like, but yeah, I mean,
we
you
still
just gotta.
tried.
Yeah,
We
that's
loved
all
it.
you can do.
Did
is
you
try.
consider like taking a gap like semester or a gap year, and like why didn't you make that choice
I
instead
think
of?
that definitely was a topic
Yeah.
of conversation.
He
but-
was considered dropping out.
yeah, I was gonna drop. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to college in the first place.
So what stopped you from like not taking the gap year and going back to school? Was it your parents or like was it
No,
like what was?
no, it had nothing to do with
what
my
motivated
parents. It was just like friends, society. You know, I don't
Yeah.
want to drop out. Like I do at the end of the day. At the end of this 4 years, I do want my degree because that's
Yeah.
dope. Like,
For me, it's definitely just A, parents, and B, just getting it done to to know myself. I can get
Right.
a degree at college, and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
because then it's always a chip on your shoulder. Like you drop out of college, and then
You're
you know
only-
you tell people you dropped out of college, and now you got to tell them why you dropped out of college,
Yeah.
what you're doing now that you dropped out of college. Like,
Yeah.
it's just something something extra you have to prove, and it's like, nah, I'll just complete it. Like,
yeah, and to go back to the business and how we closed it, just like everything was so hectic, like you were saying, we did consider selling it and everything, and like I would have conversations with my dad, my mom about it and all that, and like at the end of the day, like selling it's a whole nother beast that we didn't have time for. Like we were saying, I looked up everything and researched it. It takes at least like 9 months to sell a business like that's already like full-fledged operational like that.
and then there's a certain amount of time where we still have to remain on board to run the operations.
Yeah,
It's like
seriously.
it's just like something we're not trying to deal with. But
Yeah.
since we've dissolved it, like Walker said, we've been traveling, like
Really
living the dream.
living
Honestly,
the experience we
we
wanted.
spent a
to
week in Puerto
experience.
Rico. Like we've been
Skiing.
chilling. So like it was worth for the
It's
experience,
worth the work.
the money, and like the sense of fulfillment. Totally worth the experience. Yeah.
Definitely. And then everyone I know is like, they understand like why we shut it down, and
Right.
they're just pretty much waiting on us to figure out something else. And it's like,
Right.
like
Yeah, all the family friends now wanted, be investors and whatever.
Yeah,
the hell we got
seriously,
going
I'm-
on.
Really?
I-
You were
yeah.
getting asked for like
Yeah.
investments for people?
literally,
100%,
it
yeah.
was like family friends in general. They're just always like, oh my gosh, like how much do you guys need? And like, I do not want any money right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny how like as soon as, because like you tell your parents what you're doing, your parents are automatically gonna go tell, being as young as we are, they're gonna go tell their friends and all
Right.
that, and like it just like every time you go to some family friend function, it just blows up in your face. You're just like, yeah, at some point like it makes your head big, and also like you get annoyed a bit, but like overall like I'm proud of myself and they're proud of me, so that makes me even more happy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
it's been a journey for sure, and we have so many stories about
Oh
that.
my God,
Oh my
yeah.
god, we could sit here for hours and tell you the stuff that we went through.
It seems like it's so easy for y'all guys to talk about this.
Yeah,
I'm not exaggerating about the hair. I had a beautiful hairline like a year ago. So did
it's
it.
tragic.
It
man.
sucks. I'm telling you.
You think that's what was? It was from all the stress.
It
Yeah,
had to be.
yeah.
Had
Like
to
when
be.
I tell you all nighters, like
I could show you my hair like at the beginning
yeah,
of this,
and it's just like dealing with those kinds of the people that we were dealing with and the situations that they put us in.
oh my gosh,
like-
the situations.
It's like at times it was just like, all right, we should just like flee the country and never come back here. Like this is too much. Like
Seriously, it became crazy, especially working in Durham, as lovely as a city as it is the craziest
right.
damn thing ever.
Crazy people, like crime.
I worked there for 3 years at my Opal's business. It's not a fun place
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man. And the places that we were going into, because like we said, our clients, they're investors. Like they have multiple properties all over the area. They do not care where the property is as long as they're getting money from it. So
Right.
some of these properties were just in, not the best area, the properties themselves were just like barely renovated, like old 1970 buildings. Like it was absurd.
Yeah, and that's another thing a lot of people face when they first get into business. Like a lot of people might think like, oh, I'm not gonna have enough customers, but pretty often it's the opposite, and you get in over your head really quickly. So like knowing which clients to turn away, and you don't even have to know, just like limiting what you're taking on and pace yourself. Like it's totally fine to tell a client we're at capacity right now. Yeah. Let me get back to you in a month. They'll understand. Like those clients will always be there. So like don't just take everyone on because you think that's the right thing to do.
We did that to one client, and when we did end up taking them on, they were like our best client. Like, the one that has the closest Airbnb to this place. It's literally right across Hillsborough Street. Like we would just walk from school and we could just go and clean it. And she ended up being probably our best client because we got the best prices from her, the best like guests that would stay. Like we barely had to clean, and we'd be in and out in like an hour. We're making like I don't know, like what?
Like over $100 for like an hour worth of work.
Yeah.
That's when at the beginning you realize, okay, I'm getting paid $100 for an hour worth of work. Someone would do this for $15 an hour. Yeah. Like that's when like the business gears start turning in any business. Yeah. Like when you realize there's a lot of money and it does not that much.
There's so many small details like that. Like even at the beginning we realized that we were undercharging even our clients. And like you can mark that up as a entry strategy. But really, like we just didn't know the market well enough and where our prices needed to be. So we ended up actually raising our prices across the board on all of our clients.
Which goes back to know your value.
Yes, pretty much know your value. Yeah, and man, was that a difficult situation to navigate. Just telling like how nervous we were contacting our clients and be like, we're gonna
raise the price 40%. Like sorry.
Yeah, seriously, like. That's some like heavy stuff that we had to do but wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly.
Right. So have thick skin going into it. Like
you have to, and that was something that we definitely grew into. Like we were softies at the beginning of it. We wanted to please everyone. Like there's a problem, we'll fix it immediately. Here's some wine, here's some flowers, like all that stuff. But like back to what we said, know your value. Like they're not gonna leave you because you did some simple mistake. They at the end of the day, like they're gonna beg. Like for the market we were in, they were begging us for business. Like it was like.
What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, well you mentioned like how you value like your social life, and I wanted to like switch gears a little bit to like more philosophical like lens on
like that.
Like let's zoom out a little bit. Take a page from Lex Friedman. Like you said, like it's so important how like what is like the purpose of life basically. Like it's not all about work. Like people out there are like, okay, let me just put all my life towards this business and I'm gonna just make a bunch of money and then my life is gonna be happy. And people think that and they go through life thinking that, and then you guys you're like, okay, I'm lacking social life and I made this transition. So like what this might be like more individual question for each of you, but like what do you think is like the main purpose of life, and like how do you balance that like between making money and like your leisure time? Like what
My opinion is definitely do whatever makes you happy, what you love, and if you can mix making money through that, like doing whatever you love while also making money, then you have found like nirvana. Like if you can do whatever you enjoy and make a living, like how can you be happier, in my opinion? Like, and also have that social life that we were talking about, and that's how it boils down to me. Like,
the meaning of life. That's a deep one.
Yeah, take a few seconds if you need it.
I would just say like relationships are everything. So like it was hard to like have a girlfriend and stuff, like even like stuff like that, have like meaningful friendships when you're working all the time. So like I feel like just setting boundaries for yourself so that you can find time to be happy. Like I feel like happiness is like pretty much my answer to that question generally, but I could find a lot of happiness through work and like hard work and seeing the fruit of my labor. So like that combined with but I also like find a lot of happiness from my friends and from my girlfriend. So it's like finding time for those things is so important. And you just have to set boundaries for yourself when you feel yourself not being happy because you're working so hard. That's when you take a step back and like re-look at like what is the meaning. Like I really ask yourself that question and be like, would I be happy if I died tomorrow? Like probably not. Like if I'm working 25-8 and I died. I don't get to see any
you don't
like,
want to
any
get
of it.
in
Like,
experience the world, do whatever you love, like, and a lot of that has to do with the concept of just time in general. Like, we have a finite amount of time, like, that we're here, so it's up to you how you spend it. Like it's just so that simple concept can literally make or break your whole entire life. Like what am I gonna do after this? Like I don't know, maybe I'll go get ice cream. Like, I don't know, like I got only so much time, so why not do something I enjoy? Like,
right.
It's just, yeah, the concept of time, in my opinion, is the trippiest thing ever. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I understand it, but then again, I'm like, why?
Right.
Why? Like,
You never get it back, so just
Yeah.
make sure you're spending your time how you want to be spending it. Like,
every single day, do something that, you know, is worth your time. Like I don't know how you take that sentence, but whatever you want to do, like.
Yeah, I agree. Time is probably one of the most valuable like resources
I'd say.
in like
for sure.
existence. For
What
sure.
What do y'all think about the meaning of life? How about that one?
Honestly, like both of what you or what both of you said kind of resonates with me, especially like doing something that you're happy about.
Yeah.
I've always kind of like had that in the back of my mind, because you know a lot of people just they fall into that rhythm of go to school,
Eat, work,
do
sleep.
what you are told to, or do what you end up doing, get a job, and then you die. You know.
Yeah.
Like you said, time is finite. So just like doing whatever makes you happy and not sticking to like what the rest of society does, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to like branch out and be different, then do it. If it makes you happy and if it's going to be something that like keeps you happy the rest of your life, then do it, you know?
I would say it definitely takes mental work to get out of that mindset that society, you know, defines for you. Like all throughout our lives, we've been set up to do a 9-to-5 job and, you know, do whatever we want on the weekends. But if you are able to get yourself out of that way of thinking, just like we said in the beginning of this podcast, doors open. Like it's just, yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, you guys are doing a good job of speaking for me. Yeah, I think everything really is about like happiless, because like we don't really know, like as far as like our existence as a human being, we don't know anything bigger than like ourselves.
Yeah.
And like the only thing you can do is like it's your life. Like do what you want to do, and don't worry about if someone else thinks you're stupid for making a podcast or making a cleaning business. Then just ignore them and do. If you enjoy what you're doing, then do it. Because at the end of the day, their opinion is just some random person's opinion, and it's your life that matters the most.
And in 200 years, who gives a damn?
Exactly.
If you had a podcast,
we're all gonna be dead.
Like nobody's.
Who cares?
So the funniest thing, like when we first started, like all of our friends, like this is like when we first started, they would just laugh at us, like, and we were like, yeah, that's funny too, like, but we were just started getting into the thick of it, and they were like, we were just like, wait and see. Yeah. But it was comical how many people just were like laughing in our face, like, oh my god, you're cleaning, like what, like. Yeah, it was.
It makes I don't know, the things you say about that, like it doesn't give me like a good view of society. Like why is someone hating on someone for like making a business and like just trying to make money?
Weirdly dumb, but it just made me realize that like we just need to do whatever we want to do. Like people are gonna judge no matter what you do. Like
it's all FOMO. Like people, you know, people see you doing something and they're in the back of their head, they're like, should I be doing something like that? Like, am I slacking? And it's like, worry about yourself and support the people around you. Yeah, definitely happier on the other end of it. Like knowing that, like, if we wouldn't have pursued that opportunity, I'd be sitting in my room like, oh, I wonder what would have happened with triangle turnover, you know? So like, I feel like anything that you get excited about, like, you might as well see what happens. Like, same thing with relationships, you know? Like why not? What are you waiting on? Yeah. Like, the worst thing you could have is regret. Like.
Oh yeah.
So just, you know.
Yeah, that's another good point for like the philosophy of life. Like no regrets.
Right.
It's just a great way to sum it up.
I mean, yeah, and like first what you said, that people like hitting you up, asking you to hang out. I mean, that obviously shows that you're doing something right.
It does. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it makes us feel good, but like at the end of the day, when we started this, like you guys were the same ones, like kind of laughing in our face. So like, what's that about? But at the end of the day, it does not bother me at all. Like I just love to have a good time, especially with my friends. So, I mean, the experience we had, I would never ever trade that for anything else. But,
yeah.
All right, we're coming up on an hour here. We want to be respectful of
your
time.
Wow. When you're having fun.
We appreciate you guys spending all this time for it. Seriously.
Sure.
Definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, seriously. I was just wondering, like, if you guys have any like books or like maybe like documentaries or like any specific books that you really were like, okay, this is a must read for me, and like this helped me change my perspective on life, if any at all. If not, it's fine.
Even
I would
just,
say
like, anything.
so I don't do a ton of reading.
Yeah.
But
I need to do
Rich
more
Dad
of that.
Poor Dad, like that's a staple. That's one that I have read all the way through, and yeah, I really like that.
I gave
But
you one, but I forgot the name of it.
yeah, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that's alright.
It was something about money and happiness.
Yeah,
But I'm a big like video guy, like YouTube videos
Yeah.
and stuff. I think you can get a lot of value from that. So finding people,
What are your favorite YouTubers?
business related to business. I like Ben Mala a lot. He's like kind of he's this real estate guy from Florida who's like trapping hotels basically, and he's just like really entertaining. And he's like I've learned a lot just about real estate and how some of like the legal stuff works from him. Even though it is like a funny channel because he's very like vulgar and real, and you see the anger he's going through and stuff. But yeah, Ben Mala for sure. I've learned a lot about real estate from him, but. Other than that, it's just random. Whatever I need to know in the moment, I'm just looking it up.
Yeah, I would say for me, I do need to start reading more because books I hear are always the best tool for learning. But also the internet, we live in the technology age. Like you can't not be on the internet. Like everything's out there. You want to learn. So I would say I've enjoyed podcasts a lot. When I first got into business, my favorite podcast was Robin Hood Snacks, and like that's like a small little podcast well, it's not little, but like
Not anymore.
it's just like it's very it's a basic information podcast. I would say like if you're just starting out, I would definitely listen to it. Like it lets you learn about the business world in a fun and inviting way. But if you're really getting into stuff like I'm big into real estate right now, so I listen to Bigger Pockets real estate podcasts like nonstop, and that Bigger Pockets in general, and just and then just some entertainment podcasts I'll listen to too, but mostly
Yeah.
And he's at finance.
Yes, of
ASAP
course,
Finance, of
ASAP
course.
Finance. Yes.
What about y'all? Got any ones to recommend to us? Any podcasts, books?
I like We Study Billionaires a lot. That's really it's more of like an economic one. Like it talks about a lot like policy and stuff. Then he also has, I don't know if you're familiar with the book Richer, Wiser, Happier. They added a new segment where he's basically talks about like more general stuff. It's not like all specific on investing, but like he had Tony Robbins on. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's like a super motivational speaker, and he had him on, and he basically was just talking about like how life is precious and like a lot about the meaning of life. That's one of my favorites.
Awesome.
I don't know about Sam.
I mean, I listen to a lot of like recently. Not recently, but I'm more of like into crypto than like traditional investing stuff like Modern Finance and Proof with Kevin Rose, and then like the Compound and Friends as well, more like traditional. And then,
Shout out Pounding the Table too. They're good at.
Shout out
episode.
Tony. Hopefully we'll have him on. But yeah, and then I don't do as much reading as I probably should. But like some of the typical books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Millionaire Next Door.
Oh yeah, I have that one.
Cool.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I think that's a major key to always educate yourself, whether it's video, whatever form of
Always be
media
learning.
you
Dude,
are most attracted
Podcasts
to.
are so easy too.
Right, yeah.
Like when you're driving or like when
Right.
I listen to it
You
at
do
valet.
anything,
Like
yeah.
it's so easy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so easy. But yeah, we have a final question, Staple. We're coming up on it. You want to ask it?
Sure. So what is one goal you have, like in your career or personal life, and what actions are you taking to achieve that goal?
For each of you.
Love it.
You go first. I don't know about this one.
Mine's a pretty easy one because honestly becoming a short-term goal at this point. I'm in real estate classes, so I'll probably have my real estate license by the end of the summer, hopefully, fingers crossed. So so I'm gonna have to start thinking about a new goal because at this point like that used to be a kind of like a far-fetched goal, but now I took the action to get it. I signed myself up for the classes. I'm going through it right now, so I just gotta finish the tests and stuff. And then we'll see from there. I got to start thinking about what's next, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say one goal that kind of combines personal and business is, but like by the time I'm like having kids and stuff, kind of being able to do what I want on a day-to-day basis. And I think I have a pretty clear plan for how I'm going to get to that point. But, just spending my days eventually with kids, like just, having the, not having to go in the rat race and work the 9 to 5, and I can do stuff with my kids when they're young, because I've worked hard now and set myself up for that kind of future.
I think we both have definitely realized the value of traveling and getting to experience the world, and that's something we're always going to be working towards, is to be able to afford that lifestyle.
Right, for that, to have as much freedom as possible,
Think
as
me and
early
Sam
as
are the same
possible.
way.
Could not agree more.
But maybe we'll be in Spain together
Hey,
a few
let's
years
go.
from now, maybe next
Let's
year.
go.
Make it happen.
For sure.
We gotta make it happen. But yeah, you have anything else to add?
No, I think that was really solid. I definitely gained a lot of value from that for sure. It sounds like you guys are like super knowledgeable, and not just obviously the business you started, but all kinds of side hustles, especially how long you've been in that area. So if you ever want to come back on, we'd be glad to have you.
Definitely, we have endless stories about both triangle turnover and anything really that we've done in the past and probably the future.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this a lot for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys
Thanks,
for taking your time and come out and come on this, being our first guest of many.
Also, like, where can our listeners find you if they want to?
Oh yeah, drop any plugs. Drop your website maybe if you come back alive on Triangle Turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, feel
Or
free. Like,
Instagram,
if y'all are
Twitter.
curious about, like, you know, just a random startup website, you can check it out, triangleturnover.com. Joe_Mabry on Instagram if you want to connect, or LinkedIn. You know.
Yeah, mine's walker.rouse on Instagram. I don't know my LinkedIn, but if you just search Walker Rouse, like, you'll find me.
Right.
And then what else? But yeah, just find me, text me, whatever. Like, I'll talk to anyone for days. Like, I'm a pretty personal guy, so.
We'll leave some links in the show notes if you guys
for
want to
sure,
check them out for them to click for
I
LinkedIn
don't
or
know my
whatnot.
socials on the top of my head.
That's cool.
That's probably better.
Yeah,
Yeah, really. Yeah, well, thank you so much for
All
coming
right,
on.
thanks, gentlemen.
It
It's been a pleasure.
was awesome.
definitely loved it.